Hi again guys, and welcome to the first of a few car reviews that I'm going to be putting out over the course of the next few days for the brand new DLC pack, the biggest DLC pack so far, but we've only had two of course, on Gran Turismo Sport. A very anticipated pack. I talked about it a little while back, and now we have it, and this was by far the car that I was looking forward to the most out of the entire pack. Not because I expected it to be necessarily the best or the quickest, but because, to me at least, it was the most significant, in a similar way to how the Cobra was easily the most significant car of the first three DLC vehicles, because it's not about the specific car, it's more so what that car represents. The Cobra represented classic cars coming more frequently to Gran Turismo Sport, which to a classic fan is massively important. Now, the Ford F-150 SVT Raptor, first generation from 2011 in particular, is another occasion like that, because this is not just a great truck, which incidentally it is, and we'll get into that more in a second, but even more importantly, it's a truck in the world of GT Sport, the first one. So once again, it's that harbinger of potential things to come. Who knows what other trucks and SUVs that we might get in the game. And as far as trucks and SUVs go, I would say this is a really good debut. I'm actually going to say to Polyphony, well done on this occasion, because this was a great choice to have as the first truck in the game. Not just because it's good, but because it's new. The Cobra, for instance, was good, but we did already have it. This one is significant, and it's a brand new car, because we've never had the F-150 Raptor before. We did of course have the SVT F-150 Lightning, and that was on quite a few Gran Turismo games. I personally like that truck quite a lot, but it has its downsides. It's a very fast truck on the road, but the fact that it's rear-wheel drive severely limits its off-road potential, and also of course means that its off-the-line launch can easily be outdone by stuff like the Range Stormer, the Pikes Peak Quattro, and a variety of others. This one though has all-wheel drive, and you can tell, you can really tell. Now as far as on-paper numbers, this car is very impressive straight off the bat, as far as trucks go, that is, and of course you have to consider that at all times. This is no sports car, that's for sure. Now it costs 55 grand, which is very good, very beginner friendly, it's easy to get that amount of cash, and for that you get a 6.2 litre V8, all-wheel drive, as I said, 411 horsepower, 434 pound-feet of torque, and it's real heavy. A whole lot heavier than the Lightning was, 2.7 tons or 2,724 kilos, and as a result the horsepower per ton isn't exactly earth-shattering, 151, which is a quite low number. It's not quite as bad as something like a Volkswagen Samba bus, but it's not exactly great. However, when you fully tune this truck, which is probably what a lot of people would like to know about, well, those numbers improve quite a bit. 690 horsepower, and you can drop the weight to 1.9 tons instead of 2.7. That's a massive improvement, but also that means that the horsepower per ton is more than double in its fully tuned form. Now, the class on this car is, as you'd assume, around the N400 region. When fully tuned, it's around N700. So for a 55 grand vehicle, it looks like a pretty good deal as far as its range goes. So of course, the biggest question, given that this car has no natural rivals currently on the game, how does it perform? Well, surprisingly, really well. Actually, it's a great handling car. It's very beginner friendly. The handling is such a pleasure to work with, and this version that you can see me driving here in the video, both on and off-road, because that seemed fitting, is actually shockingly good. The handling is so easy to work with, and it's fully tuned. This car that I'm driving is fully tuned, so almost 700 horsepower at least. The weight is much lower, and I'm on sports tyres, not racing tyres. So that's a good harbinger of things to come as far as its in-game potential, and it has a lot of potential. I'm very excited to see what kind of rivals are going to come down the line. You could assume some that might be included, maybe a Dodge Ram of some sort, possibly an SRT10. That would be a nice addition that we've never had before, but of course that's all conjecture. For now, we do have this car, and I'm very happy that we do. And on a very personal note, and of course this is a purely subjective one, I'm really happy that they chose the first generation Raptor. from 2011, because although it has been facelifted, and technically the newer versions would be quicker, I don't like those as much. I don't think they look as good, but of course, that's just down to me, and I'm sure there are people who feel differently. Overall, this is a great new addition to the game. I'm so pleased that they included this in the DLC, and unlike a lot of occasions where you get your hopes up way too high for a certain car in a game or a certain car in a DLC pack and then it just doesn't deliver, this is one of those times where if, like me, you are really looking forward to this car, and I'm sure there are others who, like me, were, you're not going to be disappointed. If you haven't bought it yet, definitely do so. Or, of course, you could wait to win it, but it's not exactly expensive, so you might as well buy it anyway. It's fast, it's fun, it's a great drifter, it's great on and off-road, although off-road you do notice a very steep drop in performance, even with 700 horsepower. But even then, it's a great overall car. It can certainly bring a great, interesting, alternative rivalry to many of the other cars in the game. I wouldn't necessarily recommend taking on supercars with it anytime soon, but you could take on coupes, sedans, that kind of thing, and it can rival them, for sure. Personally, I'm a huge fan of using big, heavy vehicles to win races with, because first of all, people don't expect you to be good, but the downside of that is, of course, that when you do pull up in a lobby in a truck or an SUV, people 9 times out of 10 presume that you're there just to crash into people. And of course that's not the case. I just love driving big powerful trucks, and this, that certainly is. It's a very powerful truck, a very torquey one, and a very fast one too. The top speed is pretty decent. Of course it's never going to be amazing for top end speed, but the acceleration in particular is very good. It can actually out-launch a lot of other cars in its respective classes, which is not uncommon for an all-wheel drive off-roader. And yeah, definitely check it out. It's, as far as trucks go, pretty much perfect all round. So, as I said, I am going to be releasing far more reviews and probably some tuning as well, and some Rivals matches for the new DLC pack over the coming days and weeks, so be sure to stick around for that. Even today I'm putting out probably 3, if not more. So, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to stick around on the channel, but for now, as always, thanks for watching.